talking about boxing. Just absolutely boxing. We're talking about boxing. Just absolutely boxing. Boxing. Just absolutely boxing.
Y'all, what's going on? Welcome back to the Just Absolutely Boxing Podcast. We are back. It's round 67. I'm Combo Breaking 99.
It's your boy Boxing P. What's up, y'all?
What's going on, everybody? And we back today. Today we about to talk about a division and its unofficial tournament. You know, I like to think of it as a tournament, but I don't think a lot of people really caught on to it because, you know, everybody's been caught up into the welterweight division, lightweight, heavyweight. You know, everybody's been caught up into the drama with those, but you know, right now for the next 2 months, you know, we have a little unofficial middleweight tournament going down, you know, and I know a while back when we were talking about this, I kind of wanted to do a show where we just kind of talked about these fighters, you know, these 6-7 fighters at the middleweight division, you know, the elite, because before these fights were solid, I just kind of wanted to match them up myself and, you know, kind of see who deserves the fight, you know, see who kind of deserves the next fight, which would be, you know, either the Canelo or Golovkin winner. But, you know, they got it all matched up now. First, I'll just go down the fights. You know, first up, we got Canelo Triple G, September 15th. Mm-hmm. Then we got Joe Saunders versus Demetrius Andrade on October 20th. And then we got Danny Jacobs versus Sergiy Derevyanchenko on the 27th, man. The only odd man out in this is Jermall Charlo, man. And, you know, it's not to really, you know, put him down or nothing like that. It's just kind of hard to find out where he stands now because I know he is the WBC mandatory, but in the meantime, it would have been kind of nice to see him on one of these cards, even if you have to, you know, humble himself and be on the undercard and just kind of like take on another top 10 guy. That would have been cool. But, you know, overall, what do you think of all these fights going down the next 2 months, man?
I think it's awesome, man. I mean, it's definitely a good look for the middleweight division. And I'm glad you kind of brought that to the light and brought it to my attention. Anyway, just, you know, Charlo was the odd man out. And like I said, we're not calling nobody out. We just calling it how we see it. And Charlo was one of the more vocal fighters at 160 all day, every day. He's a young lion. And I found it personally odd that he's not in any of these big three middleweight fights going on in the division right now. And I'm kind of confused about it, to be honest. And, you know, like I said, you brought it to my attention. I didn't even really look at it like that. But it just goes back to, you know, paying dues and building your resume and proving that you're the best. I mean, you know, Jermall has been really vocal about calling out Triple G, but it's like, you know, four other fighters right there that he would have matched up with very well that I didn't hear him mention. And like I said, it's kind of odd that, you know, he's the odd man out when all this action is taking place at 160 pounds and you got a belt at 160 pounds and you're one of the most vocal fighters at 160 pounds. So,
yeah, because that's how I feel. It's like right now, if you look at these guys right here in the division that are all matched up, it's kind of already showing you their ranking, where they all stand, and the hard work they've been putting in. And if anything, though, for me, Jermall, I felt he would have kind of been in there before Derevyanchenko, because, you know, Derevyanchenko, absolutely, he's only 12-0, but, you know, he's the number one mandatory for that IBF belt that he's fighting for against Daniel Jacobs. But to me, I thought that would have been a nice fit for Charlo. Mm-hmm. You know, if he maybe would have been more vocal about getting in there, because he already kind of had the setup, you know. Shout out to Fight Hype. You know, they were doing a little interview with Jermall Charlo. Then remember when Danny Jacobs walked by and they had a little talk. Mm-hmm. I think that was kind of a good little build up, and they could have been saying, "Hey, let's fight. Winner gets Canelo Triple G."
Yeah, I mean, of course that would have been the perfect scenario, but I would have took him in there with Boo Boo. I would have took him in there with Billy Joe. You know what I'm saying? Of course Jacobs, of course Canelo, of course Triple G, but I'm just saying that those three names are pretty much the elite at 160 to me. And then you got the second, kind of tier guys, and I think that's where he fits at right now too. He proves that he's on the level of those top three guys: Danny Jacobs, Canelo, and Triple G.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Andrade fight, that would have been nice because they had history. 154 all the way up to now.
Absolutely.
They following each other. So It's like, why? It makes you always ask that question: why can't certain fights like this get made?
It definitely does. I'm not. It's not about ducking. It's not about politics. But we wonder what is it?
What is it? Yeah, because going back and looking at the tournament, like to call it, like if I'm looking at it now, I'm happy with all the fights that happened, but I kind of would have rearranged it just a little bit. Like I said, I feel like Daniel Jacobs, I feel like he's been paying his dues. Because you think about it, Derevyanchenko, this is his third undefeated fighter he's going to be fighting.
Derevyanchenko?
Yep.
Okay.
No, this is Daniel Jacobs' third
Daniel Jacobs, yeah, so absolutely.
He beat the one kid, I can't remember his name right now, and he beat Selecki. Now he gonna, go in there. If he beats Derevyanchenko, he done beat 3 young lions in a row. In a row. Even before he did that, he already established himself as the type of fighter.
He was already established, absolutely.
So a guy like Danny Jacobs, I would have put him in there with Billy Joe, because I feel like they're amongst that elite, except for Billy Joe. I think Billy Joe still has to prove his.
Absolutely, that was what I was about to say. Yeah. I mean, and the thing about it,
and the reason I call him elite is just because he's been holding his belt over there for so long. But what I mean,
he's more proven than to be honest, Charlo, and he's more proven and then Boo Boo at this point. I mean, I'm just stating the facts from the way I see it. Billy Joe was more proven than those two guys. I mean, with the Lemieux fight alone, that's a bigger name than on either one of their resumes at 160.
He's got some common Triple G opponents.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Billy Joe, definitely. But definitely, Danny Jacobs is proved already. This wouldn't be a fight to see, let me see what Danny Jacobs says. So we know Danny Jacobs going there and going to do what he's supposed to do. It's up to Billy Joe to do what he got to do.
Yeah, and that's why I feel that way, because like Billy Joe, like I'm saying too, he ain't really established to me what he could be yet, but he been holding that belt long enough where you got to prove it now. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
Like I know where he stands. Like shout out to one of our followers, Lucas Bramble. He asked me if I thought Billy Joe was overrated, and I said I didn't get a chance to answer, but now I'm gonna answer. I think he is at the moment. Because I still feel like he is, because he still needs at least 2 or 3 opponents to kind of push him over that level. Been sitting on that belt long enough, but he still needs to be tested like Danny Jacobs to me.
Well, I feel I can agree with that, Ant. But on the flip side you got people praising Charlo and other guys who haven't proven themselves. To me, Billy Joe Saunders has David Lemieux in his resume and Eubank. Those are 2 names that to me are bigger than any names that Ethan Charlo really have, to be honest.
I'm matching him up. I know where I stand with Charlo. Like Charlo, he does stand a couple rungs below them, but as far as like if I'm matching him up with Danny, I still think of Danny Jacobs as that uncrowned champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
He didn't get his. Like I said, I feel he won the Triple G fight. That's why I feel like he's here. And Billy Joe, he's here with a question mark. You know what I mean? He's here with the question mark. So I feel like
I agree with that.
Yeah, that would be the fight to match. But
I agree with that.
Charlo still has things to prove at 160. He still has that interim title, the WBC title. But to me, that's still not proven enough, because you don't have those common names yet. You don't have that you don't have a Willie Monroe or Andre. You didn't walk through these guys yet.
Right.
So I still feel like he's down here, but that would have been a good matchup for me, Saunders and Jacobs. Wow. Andrade, he could take on Derevyanchenko or Charlo. You could kind of, put them 3 in the mix somewhere, because
the Derevyanchenko definitely is like the odd man out in the tournament, as you say, Ant, to me. I mean, he's the guy that I mean, if I was to ask what guy was, what's the least qualifying guy, it would be Derevyanchenko.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
and again, that's no knock to him. He's only 12-0. He has his time coming, but the vocal guys are Andrade.
And that's
Charlo.
what I'm saying. He's the less opponent when you got a guy with an interim title who's been vocal. When you got other players in the game. You know what I mean? So, just. Charlo should have been in that mix. I mean, that's to make a long story short. He should have been in that mix, and I don't care how, but he should have been in there. His name should have been in there. I mean, to be honest, the Derevyanchenko and Danny Jacobs fight is probably going to be a kind of tough sell because people really don't know Derevyanchenko.
Yeah, I think the best part is Danny Jacobs. He's with Eddie Hearn. It's going to be in that zone. So that might be the best push it can get. But even then, you kind of forcing a name that people don't really know,
Yeah.
So, I mean, good fight for Danny Jacobs. Just a good fight for hardcore fans. But
Absolutely.
as far as breaking through for that level he wants to reach, it would have been cool if he had a Charlo, Yeah. But again, I got to take my hat to Danny because they put him to work, man.
I mean, Danny, he's one of my favorite fighters of the day. He's just a class act, man. He, from interviews to in the ring, out the ring, everything he does is just like, it's a class act, man.
It's like throwback, because
it's like a throwback. Right before you said that, I thought of Bernard Hopkins, but he's a lot more articulate than Bernard Hopkins was. He carries himself at a high level. I got a lot of respect for Danny Jacobs, man.
Yeah, because even when he got an exchange of words, he's a grown man. Right. You ain't really testing him. It's like, what do you bring to the table? I know what I bring. It's like, what are we talking about? And then
I ain't even got to go there.
I ain't even got to go there.
You know what I'm saying?
And I just feel like, man, he got to keep fighting these undefeated fighters. Whenever somebody like Andrade or Charlo should be in there earning their spots, but. Looking at the Billy Joe and Demetrius Andrade fight, do you feel like Andrade deserves this fight, like a title fight? Right?
I mean, what?
It's time.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, no, not necessarily. You know what I mean? That's another interesting choice. Even though it's a fight that people are interested in, but it's like Boo Boo ain't been active. You know what I'm saying? When was his last fight, Ant?
Man, it's been a while.
It's been a while, so you just step into a title shot when there's other guys who have been more active at 160. When you talking about a guy like a Boo Boo, you can look at a guy like Gabe Rosado and be like, yo, he can get the call anytime because Gabe Rosado been in there with everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody.
He been there with everybody.
From 154 to 160. So
he's always answering his phone.
Yeah, he always answering his phone.
You look at his record, man. From 154 to 160, he'll fight you.
So it's just weird when you got guys that be fighting here and there. Young guys that fight here and there.
And the thing, Demetrius Andrade, his last fight, October 21st last year, against that. One tall guy, Atlantis Fox.
Okay.
And since then, I felt like you could have gotten at least another.
Yeah, it's been almost a year. A year.
And the thing with him is he's this extremely talented fighter, but some people, even the people who were starting to catch on, they started to feel like his best years are gone because, he was this, how I always tell you I was following him for a while, even at 154, like he was this really talented fighter who had these skills, but he was fighting too far in between, and when he come back, he kind of showed a little bit of rust, And now at 160, I think he got the tools to beat somebody like Billy Joe, but are you up for it?
Yeah.
Are you going to be up for it?
Is this his first fight at 160?
No, this is his second.
Second fight.
This is his second. So think about it. Yeah, this is only your second. You haven't really made fireworks. You know what I mean? You haven't really made people say this dude deserved to be a middleweight.
Yeah, I don't know, Ant. I don't know, because Billy Joe really proved himself, and his stock really went up with the David Lemieux fight, because not just beating him, but how he beat him, embarrassing him, outboxing, outclassing him. That's toying around with him. David Lemieux is still a dangerous guy, and just the way Billy Joe just toyed with him, it was it was very interesting to watch that, Ant. You know what I'm saying?
It's one of those fights you love to watch whenever a boxer's able to, just dismantle a puncher,
Yes,
take away their best, the best thing, the power. And that's why I say Billy Joe, he's established, but with that question mark, because he has the skill to be able to take out like a Lemieux, but we still haven't seen him in there with like a down in the trench fighter with heart. You know what I mean? He hasn't been in there with like I said, like a Jacobs yet, a guy that has more than just the tools, but he has the gift to bring a fight,
Absolutely.
But yeah, Billy Joe, he was able to dismantle a puncher like that, and I think Billy Joe, he was able to dismantle a puncher like that, and I think that's what makes it kind of hard to see who's going to really win this one, against Saunders and Andrade. Like I said, Andrade, I think he has the tools, but Billy Joe is just kind of established at that level, at least, to take that level.
That's the way, I'm looking at it, kind of on paper, because Billy Joe, like I said, the way he beat Lemieux, he was really comfortable and relaxed in that fight at 160. So he's comfortable with that way. There's no feeling out period. There's no jitters. This is where I need to be at 160, and this is being Boo Boo's second fight at 160. Fighting a guy who's very crafty, who can box, who's very hard to hit.
Hard to hit. Yeah.
This could be a big test for a guy who's not that active, who from your words that shows signs of ring rust between fights because he's not that active. I don't know, Ant. That's a. In my eyes, the odds seem to be tipping a little bit towards Billy Joe in this particular fight. But, like you say.
And that's not just because he came out wearing that Shakespeare outfit.
He did go.
Outfit. That did knock some points down for me. But, it ain't because of the outfit, the blouse or whatever he was rocking.
My God. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I said, is he gonna be able to handle business or what? You know what I'm saying? I know it ain't got nothing to do with it, but, we just... fans see everything, your outfit, everything matters to fans, so this dude came out, they was calling him Prince, they like Prince, and Prince get up on or whatever.
And and for us, like as spectators of boxing, when we watching, we do look at every little thing, because every little thing you do kind of shows us what's on your mind. Like, I know why he's wearing that. He's trying to build up a little following, you know what I mean? He's trying to get all eyes on him, but I don't know if the eyes are really respecting what you rocking right now at that moment. That's why I'm kind of like, some people are saying you taking an L wearing that.
Yeah, because it's like, the people laughing with me or at me, you know what I'm saying?
And people, let's be honest, people want to stand with a champion that they don't have to laugh at, you know what I mean? Like, you don't laugh at Daniel Jacobs, you respect him.
You respect him, you don't do, that's Tyson Fury's department with the Batman and the Angel, you know what I'm saying?
Especially if you're going to come out of left field doing that. So I'm like, oh, man, come on. But I just think that Billy Joe, he's kind of the one that's caught in the middle because, we know he can beat that tier of opponents that he's on. But I just want to see him in there with that next level, the Canelo's, Triple G's. And when I say that now, it kind of makes you a little bit more 50-50 with that fight because we know he can handle that lower level. You know what I mean? Like, I think he could beat a Derevyanchenko. You know what I mean? Like, I think he could, handle.
Billy Joe.
Yeah, I think he might handle a guy. Okay. Well, I won't say beat, but I think he could handle a guy like that more so than Jacobs or Canelo.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, like I said,
that's why I say it's that question mark.
Yeah, when you start hitting that trifecta of the Jacobs, Canelo, and Triple G, all of the rest of those guys are not going to be able to topple those guys. Those three guys are special guys in all kind of three different ways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Danny Jacobs is just the heart, the will. Triple G is the power, the non-stop pressure, and Canelo is just the boxer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is the trifecta is gonna be hard to topple. And
they're there for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. They're there for a reason. I don't foresee these guys, from what I've seen so far, being able to do that. Anything can happen, but and only one, we got that. all these guys are getting up there. That's the one advantage that any of the young guys may have. You know, that they might be catching these guys at the right time. I think Triple G is the oldest out of all of them, or is Danny Jacobs.
I have to check. Let me check real quick.
But all of those guys are getting to like the golden days in boxing. You know, and that's young. That's in the 30s for a boxer. It's not. You know,
anytime you start to hit 31 and 32, then you're already kind of saying that's. Like some people consider that out of your prime, but Golovkin, he's 36. But,
so
Danny, he's 31.
31. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Danny just acts
He's
so
an old
old,
soul,
man. He
man.
just
He's
act
an old soul,
man.
yeah.
This joker 31.
Yeah, he make you think he's the oldest out of them, but it's just the way he carries himself,
Man,
you know.
That's why I say I got a ton of respect for this dude because I mean, like you said something else, throwback. That's just a perfect word for him because he reminds you of just a grown man from the 80s boxing. You know what I mean? In today's world. And, man.
Yeah, man.
That's impressive. This dude is 31.
He's just 31, yeah. Cause
he's not that far from the Charlos. And, you know, I thought it was a bigger gap. Wow.
And what's crazy, Derevyanchenko was 32.
Wow.
So maybe that's why Derevyanchenko getting that title shot now because, he's 32 now. Wow. So, I mean... Jacobs, him being younger, but also having that older mind, that's the benefit.
Wow.
Where, you know, versus having an old body and a young mind, Absolutely. You know what I mean?
Man, that thing just spun me, Ant, because it just makes me look at everything different. You know, I mean, I don't know. Danny Jacobs, I don't know, Ant.
And the shape he comes in.
And man, his stock just went up a little bit with me, man. Yeah. His style, I mean, he already was elite to me. I already had a ton of respect, but just to know this man is 31, I had no idea.
Yeah. And people, that's why I say, like, I show him more respect versus some of these other guys is because it's not the belt. It ain't the belt that you carrying. I call him the uncrowned champ because of everything he's been doing. You know, like some of these other guys, they'll get a belt, but then they'll hold that belt hostage, you know.
Absolutely.
They hold it for this amount of money thinking they worth it, but they not. Like him, he deserved what he should have got that night against Triple G to me. But even what he's doing now, like I said, he's still going through beating these young guys, you know.
And think about it, Ant. That's the one thing. I mean, that's probably part of his demeanor too. We never heard Danny Jacobs complain. We never heard Danny Jacobs make excuses. We never heard him talk about money.
You never hear him talking about, my contract is this and that.
You never hear that.
It's like I work it out.
You never heard that.
Keeping it to itself.
You know what I'm saying? I mean. Man,
they do make you think about it, right? Because, dang, I'm gonna have to look at the big fight, man. The big fight coming up in a couple weeks, man. Well, almost 3 weeks, but Team Triple G across from me, and Team Canelo over here. Yeah. Well, I'm somewhat. I don't know. You know.
Don't start that crap,
man.
You gotta pick a side. Don't start that crap. Don't got one foot over here and one foot over there. No.
I say. I'm not Team Triple G. No.
Okay.
I mean, I would say that because a little bit because of what he did. You know, I think he still need to be punished for that.
Yeah.
But I'm still not going to step over to Triple G. Just because. No.
Okay. I think we can respect that.
Yeah. Like I'm going to go over here and punish my boy over here for a second. I'm like, I'm a fan of what you do, but right now I don't really, honestly, I don't think this fight should be happening right now. I mean. Maybe after your punishment is up, after you get out of that corner, after you've been grounded, but right now it shouldn't be happening to me because...
And I gotta give you respect for that, because that's keeping it 1,000% real because, you know, it is what it is. Despite how we feel about guys, we're still about what's right and what's wrong in the sport. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to see my favorite fighter cheat and be like, oh, that's cool. I don't really respect dirty fighters. So it's one of those things. But to say that, damn, he got me in the damn dilemma now. You know what I'm saying? He got me in the dilemma.
He do. That's what I'm saying. It's like I respect everything he was doing as a fighter, but now that shit goes into question because it's like, what are you doing? You know, why are you even, doing this? But then the other side of me says, these guys are human, and we don't know what kind of pressure they be under sometimes, stars, actors, what kind of pressure they want to put on performances. You hear about them being on drugs, but the difference between them is they ain't going in the ring, putting somebody else's life on the line, with the physical harm,
Absolutely.
So that's the one thing I have to take away
And another thing
Canelo.
for Canelo is like, we still kind of like, why, dude? I mean, some of the people that's doing stuff is like, dude, I mean, and I'm gonna just go across the board. I mean, John Jones, why? I mean, the stuff we seen you do, it don't. Anderson Silva, the stuff we seen you do, you know, some of the people have been popped with this stuff. It's just so confusing us because we like, Canelo, what? Come on, why?
Yeah, you like, why?
You didn't need it.
You don't need it.
And that's what I'm saying. These people we look at as, I mean, I could see if you was, you know, at the bottom of the game, or, you know, these guys at the top of the game, and it didn't seem like they would need that edge. But even the top guys are feeling pressure, and you know, that's how much pressure it is.
And that's how much pressure it is. That's to say, like, they're still human, because we can look at them from the outside and say, there's nobody you should feel threatened about when we look at people in the division. When we say, Canelo, you shouldn't be threatened by nobody. You know, you shouldn't be threatened by none of these guys that you have to enhance yourself with anything, or your team feels they have to enhance this. So when you go in their mind, their mental, it's always on the, you never know what the mental pressure is like. How they're feeling. They could be saying, you know, I don't have it anymore. So,
or how strong or weak a person is mentally. You know, I mean, guy can be throw hands all day long, and his girlfriend have him in there crying every night. So I mean,
he can handle beat downs
all day long.
With the lady,
all day long. You know, I mean, so it's a lot of things going into that. But I'm just saying, you know, of course, I'm Team Triple G, and you know, his guy put him in a dilemma. But you know, for argument's sake, you know, he's Team Canelo. And so what was you gonna say about that, Ant?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
By the way,
we went all the deep in there, but what I was gonna say is, like, this fight is still a fight I felt needed to happen. Because the first one, it just kind of left a sour taste and a bitter taste in everybody's mouth. You know, like, I know you felt Triple G did win the fight, and I felt it could have been a draw.
Yeah.
I felt it could have been a draw, but I felt like Canelo, he let up at sometimes, you know. As a guy that's watching from his corner, I can say that he needed to commit more, you know. But I feel like this one needs to happen to kind of answer those questions, because, like we say, they're the elite in the division, and they kind of have to prove that now. You know, it's kind of put Triple G in a bind where, you know, he has to go back again and, you know, run it back, get in there again against that, the fellow A+ guy in the middleweight.
Right.
And for Canelo, he got a lot of things to recover. You know, you got to go back and win me back for one, but you got to win everybody back. You know, you got to prove that you ain't on nothing and you can still beat him. You know, you got to show him. He went as far as to say he could knock Triple G out. So I mean, he's got a lot of things riding on it. I mean, even more so than Triple G. I know Triple G has the belts, but you know, your whole everything you stand for as a fighter is on the line.
Absolutely.
That's the best way I can say it, because of what you did.
Canelo was definitely going into the fight with a whole lot of more added pressure than, you know, Triple G coming in like, yo, I'm gonna just do the same thing I did the first fight. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, Canelo got to prove that he can sit there and take Triple G shots. He can do all that crazy shit he was doing in the first fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He got to prove that now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we're wondering. And then at the end of the day, Ant, to me personally and to a lot of fans, the fight definitely lost a lot of steam because of all the debacles that went through. You know, I feel the same way, you know, that you were saying how, like, it's still a lot of unanswered questions about the fight. And it's funny because this is a fight that I don't think either guy wanted to do again. You know what I'm saying? Triple G definitely didn't want to do it again after the debacle came out. And then Canelo was like, this dude, I mean, do I want to do this again? You know what I'm saying? It was a tough fight. So,
because you got to think, look at both sides. Triple G felt he did his best and exerted himself to that point where he thought that was it. But it was like, damn, I got to do this again. I don't want to. Right. Because he was like, if I do the same thing I did before, it's not going to work. Whereas Canelo, he felt this kind of the same way, but at the same time, he got to go in there and exert himself to that level that he hasn't really fought. He never really had to reach before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the one part I disagree on, and is, can Canelo take the shots clean?
shoot.
Can he
Clean.
can he take the shots clean?
Clean
That's
shots
the difference.
clean, yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah,
Can he
yeah.
take these shots clean? Okay, you know, Triple G, yeah, he might feel like, man, I went there, gave it all I got, pushed myself to the limit, and this is how they did me. But the difference is now we know that you're under the microscope, and we everybody's watching. So it should be 100% chance that you are clean this night. And can you do the same stuff that you did in that first fight? That's
P can read me because I was going to say that, but being that team Canelo, I tried to avoid it, man. Because like I was going to say, does he want to go back in there and take that type of punishment again? You know, that's why he's saying, damn, man, I didn't win. Now I got to go back through hell again.
Exactly.
So
and that's why I said this is a fight that neither guy wanted to do. It's a fight that we want to see, but neither guy was like, yo, I want to do this again. This
want to do it again.
I don't want to do it. Because another thing you got to realize, you know, Canelo took the punches and did all this, but that don't mean Canelo wasn't pissing blood after the fight. That don't mean Canelo wasn't swelled up.
Concussions.
After the fight. Concussions after the fight. You know, some of that crazy stuff he was doing. You know, I mean, hands down, taking some of Triple G shots. Who does that?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you know, it's more to it than just the fans see, you know, and that's the thing, you know, the Canelo might have been laid up for a week and a half, pissing blood, you know, whatever the case may be. He say, damn, I'm dreading going through this again. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and Triple G the same way. He could have been pissing blood. I mean, he was taking shots from a guy who was supposedly on something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the other side you got to think. He took those shots from somebody on something better than many of guys probably could have did it, you know, and that's what I'm saying. When you go home, who knows what damage it did to him? Who knows what damage? And that's worse because, like we say, he on something. Yeah. Whereas Triple G, we don't. He not on nothing from what.
He's haven't been popped, so you know. But I mean, it's so like I was saying, the fight definitely lost a little bit of steam because of all the nonsense, but like you said, and it's still being that diehard boxing fan is still something that you want to see because you know what I mean. You know what I mean. We gotta see this. Yeah,
it's still something we gotta see because we know nothing in the boxing world is perfect. You know, we never really get the matches we want, but we at least getting these two to fight again.
Yeah,
you know,
we got to take it. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. That's how. That's a good way to put it. At you know what I mean?
Because I did, but back in the day, I wanted Winky Wright, Jermaine Taylor. Remember that draw? I wanted that rematch, but we didn't get that. But
absolutely.
When you say, I want to ask you this: like, when you say this fight kind of loses steam to you, do you mean steam as far as like attraction again, or as far as like significance?
For me, it was interest in it. You know what I mean? We diehard fans. Ain't the first fight, you know, day one, you team Canelo. Day one, I'm team Triple G. We going back and forth. Not heavy debates, but, you know, we steadfast on our guys. You know, this is how I feel. That's how you feel. And it's just like, I mean, they put us through so much. It just lost a little bit of, I'm not going back into it with the same intensity. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, I want my guy to win, but I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I don't know what's going to happen because, I mean, I felt my guy won last time. Draw at the worst. Draw at the worst. And so, I mean, it's just, I just don't know what's going to happen, man. It's like, you know, my guy, he really got to knock this guy out to win. You know what I'm saying? And that's not really fair. A fight shouldn't have to be like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know?
And I honestly, like, I would have felt more satisfied even if Canelo did lose, but he came up clean.
Exactly.
You know,
that's real too.
And that's real
and
for
then
me.
The one judge that they had who had to fight crazy. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it lost a lot of steam behind it. This guy's dirty. They had a golden boy judge over here, whatever. It's just like, what's going to happen in this fight if my man don't knock him out? Yeah. So I'm not really, you know, I'm going to watch. I'm interested, but it's not like if none of this stuff had happened and they had just ran it back, it would have been a little different. You know, just keeping it 100. And I heard this from a few people and that they don't really feel the same steam behind the fight. Now, as far as importance, it's something that we have to see at because we have to know where these two guys stand with each other. You know what I'm saying?
On a level playing ground.
Yeah, we're on a level playing ground. We have to know, you know, where these guys stand at because, I mean, to be honest, this fight is going to dictate kind of the rest of the division. You know what I'm saying too? You know?
Whoever, wherever these belts go, it depends. Like, it's going to really come down to, who's going to be the next guy.
Who's going to be the next guy? I
The
mean,
next guy.
and even for the loser, say Canelo was to lose, but if Charlo got in there and beat Canelo, then he's still elevated because Canelo's still going to be a great fighter. You know what I mean?
Right.
He just lost a close fight or lost a fight to Triple G. Same way Triple G lose and Charlo get in there and wash him. It's still a good look. So this fight is going to dictate the rest of the division. But after the smoke settles, Danny Jacobs should be the first one,
to get his hands on the winner. Yeah,
get through this Derevyanchenko fight.
Yeah, get through that.
He should be the first one
with his choice,
name mentioned.
Yeah.
So we'll see how we'll see how it goes though. Right? We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, man. Because when I think about it like that now too, like the luster for that whole feeling I was getting, it's like it definitely went down.
Yeah.
Because like I said, if Canelo would have lost the first time, and like I said, came up clean, this rematch I would be more hyped for.
Like, yo, he gonna go back. He gonna fix the mistakes. He gonna get it this time. Yeah.
I would have been hyped for that. But now it's kind of like that first time is they gave us something that that we wanted. We thought we wanted, but it wasn't. It didn't play out the way it was supposed to.
It didn't play out. A fight for all the marbles and of this magnitude, and it didn't deliver.
And it wasn't like I said. It wasn't like Canelo got knocked out that you get upset. It was like testing dirty. Then you're like, oh fuck, he done fuck everything. Like Mark cards. Y'all playing cards. Damn, my cards are more. That's why I lost. And he done run off with the money. What am I supposed to do? That's what I'm saying. Like, this one just has to happen to kind of dictate where everybody goes from here. It has to happen to kind of say, Triple G, is he still on that level? Canelo, is he clean? Can he hang with the other middleweights? But once we once this fight happened now, like I said, that'll kind of go ahead and get it out the way.
Get it out. Get it.
I don't think it'll need a rubber match, do you? Since that first one was a draw.
It all depends what happens, sir. I mean, the thing about it, what if it's another performance like this? Very close. I mean, like the first one.
Yeah. Somebody gonna ask for him.
And we still haven't got our answer.
Yeah.
Because even from the first fight, I thought Triple G beat. He didn't dominate him necessarily, though. You know what I mean? It wasn't. It wasn't like he's better than Canelo. It was like he beat Canelo that night. The rematch, anything can happen. So I mean, if they come up with another razor sharp decision and we know Canelo was clean, it might be automatic for a rubber match. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the one thing that's going to matter is the numbers, what type of numbers get generated that night and we'll see how the fans really felt if it did go down.
Talk, or if they really do want to see it. We'll see. Yeah. I want to ask you this too though. If Canelo was to be suspended like he's supposed to be, do you think that Jamal Charlo would have been a good selection for Triple G instead? Would you rather seen that fight?
Not at all, man. Because in my heart, I still don't feel like Jamal Charlo is on Triple G's level by no means. I would rather see a Jamal Charlo in there with somebody like a David Lemieux. Prove that to me first. I mean,
next question.
Yeah. I mean, that's just honest.
That was my next question because Lemieux and Gary O'Sullivan, they're on this card.
Yeah.
Munguia, he's fighting Brandon Cook on this card. I was like, Charlo, he could have been on there fighting Lemieux or O'Sullivan just to get in there, just to rattle some cages.
Because you're not really where Billy Joe was at. You're not with Dan and Jake. You're not there yet, man. You're not there yet.
Yeah.
He's not there yet. He wants to be there. He may think he's there, but
yeah.
My personal opinion, and I'm guaranteed the opinion of a lot of fans, will say you're not there yet.
Yeah.
You're on a Munguia. I mean, not necessarily Munguia, but he would have been a perfect fit to be on that undercard. I mean, it's a huge fight.
Yeah.
You sound stupid saying, "Oh, I'm too big to be on this fight." You're not bigger than Canelo or Triple G.
Yeah.
You're not bigger than them. Are you serious? You're not on that level.
Yeah.
You should have been more than willing fighting to get on this card because of the publicity and perform. And perform and get that knockout of a legitimate opponent, Dave Lemieux. Not a Centeno, a little frail guy, a solid, legitimate middleweight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I forget Munguia. Lemieux.
Yeah.
Get a Lemieux out there, man.
Just get in there and fight him on that same card.
On that
so
same
the
card.
Canelo fans and Triple G fans can gauge you and say, oh, this dude need to be in there with Triple G next.
Exactly.
Let's see him in there next.
I mean, because to be honest, Munguia, it's possible you can get Munguia right now. He young, he green, he still, it's possible you might not get him, but I would like to see him matched up with a guy like a David Lemieux, a guy who can punch, a guy who's solid, a guy who got a chin, a guy who's tough. He's in there bleeding, he's still in there in the game. So I would like to see that, man, because he really haven't proven that to me at 160 yet.
Yeah. Well, Charlo, like I said, he's in that kind of same boat like Andrade is, where he hadn't sparked fireworks in that division. I'm still riding off what he did 154, but like as far as that sparking and fireworks in this division, he ain't really done that yet. Like whenever Roy he moved up to light heavyweight, he sparked them fires. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like he went up there, started beating Mike McCallum, Montel, all the guys that had names. To unify, but you beat what's his name?
Who?
Charlo, the guy Charles.
Centeno.
Yeah, Centeno. He beat Centeno, but like who else have you fought in the thing? And then Munguia, he's fought 3 times in 4 months. 154, but I mean now he's on this Canelo Triple G card, man. So just speaking facts.
And it's just good business, man. It would have been a good business move.
Yeah.
But Charlo. Yeah, I mean, it's just still stuff, remains to be seen.
Yeah, because think about it, back in the day, like, if you wanted Mike Tyson, sometimes dudes would fight on his undercard first, Didn't matter, Holyfield, if you wanted to fight these guys, you'd be on their undercard for a collision course for the next fight,
Right.
Y'all would be on the undercard to see how they fare. That's what I'm saying, like, Charlo, humble up, get on there, fight Lemieux or Gary O'Sullivan. To me, he should have took one of those guys.
I mean, but and think about it, how degrading or demeaning is it fighting on the biggest middleweight, probably the biggest fight card this year?
Yeah.
Is that such a bad thing?
Can't be.
And then get on there and perform?
Yeah, it can't.
You get on the biggest card and get a highlight reel knockout. How could that be a bad thing? So I'm just saying, that's just, my perspective, but he should have been in the mix on that card, man. Fighting to be on there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you barking up the Triple G tree. I don't really hear him barking up the Canelo tree. It's like he fixated on Triple G for some reason. And mind you, Triple G is the oldest dog at middleweight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I don't think, for me, like if you as a fighter, I don't really think a guy should just. They can say that's my goal, but don't just target that. Don't lock ignore, in. Don't lock in. Don't ignore what's in front of you. You could be knocking these guys out the way, but these guys are still in your way, And the path's not clear.
And to be honest, the most logical fight for him would be the Boo Boo fight. And to me, he would have the advantage in that fight, being he's been more active than, Boo Boo. But they wouldn't even do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's because you got history. You guys are 2 young black fighters, 2 slick styles. Getting there and mix it up. It's interesting. It's definitely an interesting fight.
Yeah, it would definitely be a good fight because, like we said, both young, undefeated.
Yeah.
And just the talk, the build up, the history they had, calling one another out, why didn't it ever happen? So that's that would have been one of the matchups I said I would have changed. I probably would have put them in there together, But like I said, if Derevyanchenko, he been the odd man out. But then again, like him being 32, he looking to grind,
Yeah.
He put himself in that IBF, title fight. So.
And then to add, like you said a little earlier about Danny Jacobs, but I want to make sure I give him his proper shine on this. This will be the 3rd undefeated guy that he's beat or he's faced, right?
Yep.
And not only undefeated guys, but animals. Selecki was an animal.
Yeah.
Derevyanchenko was an animal.
Yeah.
And who was the first guy?
The first guy he fought was, remember that, let me check his name real quick, but he was a guy in there that was the very first undefeated fighter he fought and he was talking mad trash. Luis Arias.
Okay.
He was a guy that they were talking at the presser, and Daniel Jacobs just like, I'm gonna just show you fight night. He just said he could just go show him. So yeah, that's going.
But I'm just take my hat off to him for pretty much taking 3 tough fights in a row when he didn't have to do that.
If you count Triple G, that'd be four O's and four guys
tough fights in a row. Didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Just shout out to Danny Jacobs, man. He really represents the sport well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because whenever I look at it like that, he's not making me ask the question, well, why? He's never making me ask why.
No. You can't think of a why. You can kind of think, when have I heard him go? No,
why ain't he got his rematch with Triple G or shot at Canelo? I might ask that, but I'm just saying, like, he's not saying, like, why he ain't this instead of this.
And think about it, Ant. You don't even hear this man who gave Triple G, and in some people's eyes, that gave Triple G his first loss. You don't hear him barking up that tree like that.
No.
You don't hear this man barking up that tree like that when he's got every right reason to be barking up that tree like that. He could be, like you say, he could be locked in on this and say, I don't want nobody else. I want my rematch. This. You know what I'm saying? And it would be fair. It would be fair.
Yeah,
we couldn't say nothing about that.
Exactly. It would be
and
cool.
he's not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think you could be doing? I'm just saying that.
But because with Danny Jacobs, he just made moves. Because think about it. On his last interview I seen with him, he said, I'm taking this fight here for this IBF title. So it can definitely put him in line for it. So they can't say nothing. So he just said, I'm going to make this move. And that's all you got to do. Don't keep talking. Just make the move silently. He said, I'm going to do this. When I do this, it's definitely going to put me in that shot for Canelo Triple G winner.
Man, shout out to Danny Jacobs, man. Hell of a guy.
Yeah, man. But like I said, man, we could talk about this all day because the division's been so crazy. Like I said, first up, Canelo Triple G on September 15th. Mm-hmm. And then we got Billy Joe and Demetrius Andrade on October 20th. Then the next Saturday, Danny Jacobs versus Sergiy Derevyanchenko, man. Like I said, that's a tournament right there.
Solid.
147. Y'all need to look at that. Take notes on that, man. No more talk. Let's make it happen. But before we roll, man, anything else you want to say, man?
No, man. Just like I said, we looking forward to this middleweight tournament, as my partner Combo Breaker 99 refers to it as. Just looking forward to seeing this play out.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely, man. And
it's gonna answer a lot of questions. A lot of questions are gonna be answered in the next month or so.
Yeah, man. And like I said, just looking at it versus what's going on in the divisions, it's just like all your answers are right there in the next 2 months, man. But like I always say, make sure you subscribe to us on Stitcher.com, iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud. And you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at thejabeffect. And just type in Jab Podcast, because, we the only ones that come up. We the only ones that own lane, man.
Yeah.
But like always, my name is Combo Breaker 99.
It's your boy Boxer P, y'all.
And we out. Peace.
Later.